Hello, this is Curtis Morrison, immigration attorney, and sort of like the guy that talks about 2020 DV litigation. So I have an update today. Today was Friday, September 25th, and lots of things happened, okay? And so I want to give you, this video is going to be longer than usual, but I want everybody to go into the weekend knowing where things are in advance of, we're getting close to the September 30th deadline, okay? So this is news that applies to all 5 DV cases: Muhammad, Aker, Gomez, Fongjong, and Kennedy. So this news applies to all 5 of you. Yesterday on Thursday, Judge Mehta decided that he prefers to have only one more hearing before he makes his decision on whether he's going to carry over the visas past the September 30th deadline, okay? He says carry over the visas. It's sort of the same thing as extend the deadline. That's the legal way to say that, okay? That hearing will be Monday, September 28th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's Washington, D.C. time. The public and media are welcome to listen in on the same phone number that we've shared with you before, okay? Same access code. Okay, now, I have news that applies only to Muhammad, Fongjong, Aker, and Gomez, the original DV cases, okay? This news is for you. Today, the government submitted their report about their progress in adjudicating the visas for the named plaintiffs. As expected, we learned that they did not do as good a job as they could have. Of 974 named plaintiffs in these 4 cases, only 523 were issued visas. Okay, that means 451 named DV plaintiffs in the first original 4 DV cases. 46% of the original DV named plaintiffs had not been issued visas. This performance is unacceptable, and it is as if they were not even trying, okay? And I think the judge will see that. I think he will see that they were trying, but they were not trying hard enough. Okay, something else we learned from the report: there are over 40,000 visas still available that have not been issued. Although we expect some will be issued on Monday and Tuesday, there's still people that have interviews on Monday or Tuesday. It is clear there are more left over than any time in history. And so this is another reason for Judge Mehta to extend the deadline, because this has never happened before in history. Okay. Both of these facts support carrying over the visas past the September 30th deadline. So they're good facts. It's good that the government got that report in to show us how bad they've done. Okay. Now, I have news that applies only to Muhammad, Fongjong, and Kennedy plaintiffs. If your case is still at KCC and has not been scheduled at an embassy yet, it is probably too late to expect that to happen. There's nothing we can do to help it. It's just too late, okay? The best hope for you now, which we think there's a good chance for, is that Judge Mehta carries over the visas past the September 30th deadline. So pay close attention to the hearing on Monday and his decision, which will probably come the next day, or maybe Wednesday, because there's a good chance that he could still offer you relief. But it's not likely that if you have not been scheduled an interview, it is not likely that it will happen now. Okay, let's just face that. Okay. Second, if you had an interview scheduled between now and Wednesday and need our support, and you are our client, you are a plaintiff in Muhammad, Fongjong, or Kennedy, reach out to us, email us. Email is the best way. I'm so buried in chat apps, Telegram, WhatsApp. It's hard to find me there. The best way is to send an email, and if you have Benon or Christina's email them directly, because they really are on top of that. And if you email me, I'll just forward it to them, kind of. Okay, so news that applies only to Kennedy plaintiffs. These are the DV 3.0 plaintiffs. There are 1,000 DV winners and their family members, over 2,300 plaintiffs total. And this news is just for you. Okay, we learned at yesterday's hearing on Thursday that Judge Mehta will not be having a separate hearing on your lawsuit on Tuesday. Here is why. He recognizes that most of the issues in the legal arguments are the same for you as they are for the Mohammed and Fong Zhong plaintiffs. And this is a time where everybody's rushed, and it would be just duplicative to have the same arguments 2 days in a row. So he's going to include these issues, the Kennedy plaintiffs' issues, on Monday, with one exception I'll talk to in a second. And at that Monday hearing, we, Raphael, will be speaking. We will be advocating for your interest as well as the Mohammed and Fong Zhong plaintiffs at that hearing. We will not be advocating for non-plaintiffs of Mohammed, Fong Zhong, or Kennedy. That's the only plaintiffs that me and Raphael and Abadir and Philip and Christina will be advocating for. Okay? So, more updates for Kennedy-only plaintiffs. I said in a minute I would circle back to something. There are some Kennedy legal arguments that are unique, that were not brought, we did not know about, to argue in Mohammed and Fong Zhong. And these are asking for special relief related to Proclamation 9645 and 9983 for Kennedy plaintiffs from these countries: Yemen, Burma, Eritrea, Sudan, Iran, Kyrgyzstan. I'm sorry. Okay, Judge Mehta has decided it would be better to deal with these issues at a separate hearing after his decision. So that's on after his decision on whether to carry over the visas. Then he will decide whether or not there will be any kind of special relief for this group, and that hearing on those issues will be October the 13th, in a couple weeks at 2 p.m. and you can call in and listen. And that will be great. So that's actually a good sign that we have a hearing in October in the case, because that probably means that, things are going to keep going. Okay? So, next update for Kennedy plaintiffs. Tonight, the government made a filing with all the reasons they think Kennedys are not entitled to additional relief. We've shared that on my website, Telegram, and Twitter just now. They did not really impress me with what they wrote. They attached a lot of exhibits that do not support their position. There's an email from the Warsaw Embassy that actually shows why Kennedy plaintiffs need the court's help. So I don't think this filing that they made is really going to influence the judge's decision. And if it does, it influences it the other way and makes him more sympathetic to Kennedy plaintiffs. Okay. Also tonight, Raphael Urena, my colleague, just filed a motion on your behalf, Kennedy plaintiffs. The judge calls this a Me Too motion, and he actually recommended it at the Thursday hearing. What this motion does is it adopts all the arguments that we made in Mohammed and Fong Zhong for those plaintiffs. It adopts all those arguments to the Kennedy plaintiffs, so that we don't have to redo all the same briefing and put the judge through all of the extra paperwork and all the arguments twice for the same thing. So now it's he's considering it all together. Okay, he has not technically consolidated the cases, but he's considering them together. So it's very similar. Okay, and we expect he will welcome that motion because it was his idea. Okay, final update for Kennedy plaintiffs only. Okay, support for consular processing. As you know, we have not had capacity yet to, except in limited cases, really help you a lot with your consular processing. But now, over half of our Mohammed and Fong Zhong plaintiffs have been issued visas, and we are beginning to get caught up. So if you have an emergency and you have a question you need help with, email ideally Banan or Christina, but if you don't have their email, email me or Raphael, and we will do what we can to help you, okay? Be patient because we get a lot of emails, but we are freed up and we will help you now as we can, and then after October 1st, we can help you a lot more, okay? If the judge carries over the visas. Okay, now, Finally, news from the Gomez case that may affect all the cases, okay? There's two developments in the Gomez case. The Gomez attorneys have filed an appeal of two parts of Judge Mehta's September 4th decision. They filed it to the Circuit Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia. That's the court that's over Judge Mehta. And these are the two things they are asking for. One, they are appealing Judge Mehta's refusal to strike down the two labor proclamations, 10014 extended by 10052. They're saying that Judge Mehta should have struck those down. And so the Circuit Court will hear that. And then the second thing that they are appealing is how the order did not apply to their non-DV plaintiffs. As you know, there were subcategories in the Gomez case that were not DVs, and they did not prevail from Judge Mehta's order on September 4th. So one of the things that they are appealing is they're saying, hey, that relief that the 2020 DVs got, that should also apply to the H-1B employers and to the F-2A, the family-based, and all their other categories, subcategories in the Gomez case. I think that was smart for the Gomez attorneys to refile this certification. I'm sorry, I skipped ahead. This was smart for them to file that appeal. Okay, now, Gomez attorneys filed a second filing. And that is, they filed papers asking to renew their motion for class certification. They're asking the judge that let's reconsider our motion for class certification, that these named plaintiffs in Gomez represent all the DVs. Okay, I think it's smart that they did that. However, you should know this could be really good news for DVs who are not named plaintiffs in any of the lawsuits. If you're not named plaintiffs in any of the lawsuits and this prevails, that will be good for you. However, this could be bad news if you are a DV that is a named plaintiff in a lawsuit with a high case number. Because if this motion is successful, that means after the deadline, if it's extended, that would mean that you have more competition to get one of these remaining 40,364 visas, okay? So, like everything with the diversity visa lottery program, there are winners and losers, but we don't know what the judge will do with this class certification petition, the renewed one. Just because the Gomez attorneys filed it and they asked the court for the class certification again is no guarantee that the judge will approve it. Okay, I know that that's a lot of information. And if there's something you didn't get, just realize that in a couple days we will all know everything. A few days. Because after the judge issues his order, everybody's going to interpret the order and disseminate that information. So just be patient and we'll have all the answers in just a few more days. You've waited this long. You've gone through all this for a couple years. So just a few more days, we're going to have a lot more clarity on how to go forward, okay? So try to relax this weekend. Drink water, breathe air, okay? Thanks a lot.